We are gathering history and artifacts every single day, from a majorette uniform in Lincolnville. I attended that Rosenwald School, and for your audience that don't know, Julius Rosenwald, he was the first president of Sears and Roebuck in Chicago. Julius Rosenwald built 5,000 churches for colored children. Like me, when I grew up in South Carolina, got 500 of those schools throughout the state, and one of those places is Lincolnville. It's our town center, and we are excited. We're in the midst of renovating it now. A couple of weeks ago, as I read the co-founders, I'm looking for data on them, who were these people, and I couldn't find anything on 3 of them. One of them was Mark Buffett. Lo and behold, the student said, master students, he says, Dr. Seele, I took you up on it and I found something on Mark Buffett. He was born in North Carolina, and he joined the 1st Regiment of North Carolina because he wanted to join the Union Army. He was then transferred to the 35th Regiment in South Carolina, and in 1910, him and his wife Josephine lived in Lincolnville on Blackjack Street. Nobody has ever heard of Blackjack Street. I'm wondering where, maybe it's in the woods somewhere, where was Blackjack Street? He died in 1930. He was 90 years old. He was in the hospital at Somerville, and I remember the hospital in Somerville because they had the white area and the colored area. So when I had my appendix taken out, I was in the colored area of Somerville Hospital. So that brought back memories. But the big thing is he's buried in Bible Sojourn Cemetery in Lincolnville. So now we know that we have colored troops who fought in the Civil War that are actually buried in Bible Sojourn Cemetery in Lincolnville, and he is absolutely not the only one. My mother and father grew up in Lincolnville. We had a post office, and we know that Miss Catherine Wallace was the first Postmaster General. Miss Charlotte Raleigh was the 2nd Postmaster General. When I grew up, there was no post office, but we had our own zip code. Today, we don't have a zip code. And if you put my address in Lincolnville, it comes up Somerville. I have major concerns with that because when we're looking at our data, whether it's public health, I'm in public health, we can't find it. All of our data in the town of Lincolnville it gets shifted into Somerville. So Somerville gets to use our data. And I think that is a major challenge for this town when you think about the longevity of the town, where we had a post office, we had a zip code, and now if you put an address in Lincolnville, it comes up Somerville. Sometimes we are even listed as a subdivision of Somerville. We are absolutely not a subdivision of Somerville. We are our own incorporated town, Lincolnville, South Carolina. So for me, as you can see, that's one of my biggest challenges. The town of Lincolnville and the town of Somerville, really need to come together to address, because we have been living in concert forever. And I think that we need to begin to consciously educate the new generation of Somervillians about the town of Lincolnville, your neighbors. Lincolnville is like a cornerstone of Black history and resilience and American history. And I think that as we talk about Black history, we must also make everybody understand that Black history is American history. When we talk about the Avery Institute, our first school, before there was a Rosenwald school, there was the William Graded School. One of South Carolina's first journalists attended William Graded School and then went to the Avery Institute. The Rosenwald School, that's not just South Carolina, but that's Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, Mississippi are Rosenwald schools. As we uncover, so much history that's still in the fabric of Lincolnville, it's not just Lincolnville, it's not just South Carolina, it extends beyond our borders. Black history was always special, even when it was a day. I remember when Black History was a Black History Week, we had to present Black leaders. We had to give their speeches. We had to be Mary McLeod Bethune. We had to be Langston Hughes. I was always Mahalia Jackson, because I could sing. We had to present all of these leaders. History was embedded in us as children. Black history runs through me. It's not just a week. Now it's a month. Black history is my life. I remember coming to Somerville and having to go to the back of the Tasty Freeze to get an ice cream cone. I mentioned having to go to the color section of Somerville Hospital. Dr. Meservey, right up the street where his office is, there are two doors. I pass by that building all the time, and there was a colored door and a white door. And when you went into the colored door, if you got there at 8 o'clock in the morning, you may not leave until 5 o'clock, because no matter how many white people came in, they were going to be seen before you got to be seen. And because I was able to grow and move, I went to Atlanta, I worked for the Disease Control, Time magazine on the cover, and this and that and that and third, I also understand the larger context that Black history is also American history. The advice I would give to young people, first of all, it is important that you understand that you came from somewhere. Talk with your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and your uncles, because one day, you will wish you had them to go and sit down and ask questions. The information that they have, the knowledge that they have today, you will not have it once they leave. I want to encourage you to talk and get all the information from your folks and the folks in your community that you can.